All right. So good morning, one and all. um, Thanks for those that are in attendance and those that will be attending on YouTube later. We're actually getting views on some of the meetings that we had prior. Uh, People are clicking on them to review them at later dates where technology is truly unbelievable to allow us to do all of this. So I wanted to give everybody a little bit of a background on this set of classes that we're going to be having, because there's going to be several, and I've put out the schedule for everybody. But I want to give a little bit of background on where momentum came from, where the class came from, what the idea behind it and everything was. So about 3 years ago, Remax put out a class. It was not cheap. I think I paid somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 to go and get trained on 3 separate days out in Sarasota. And they give us a lot of binders, a lot of materials, and it's designed to basically create momentum. It's a fantastic name. It can be utilized with brand new agents, or it could be utilized with seasoned agents. And it's designed to get people to think, to get back to the basics, and to get them to the next level, whichever level that they want to be at. So if you want to be an agent that is comfortable making $50, $60, $70,000 a year, that's no problem. This isn't telling you to do more than what you want to do. It's telling you that if you are a $50, $60, $70,000 agent a year in your pockets, and you want to be 100, 150, 200, you can do it by taking very simple, deliberate steps into catapulting yourself into the next level if that's what you desire. It also is designed for people to work smarter, not harder. Okay, rather than throwing things against the wall to see what sticks, it's very methodical steps to take to to get you to that next level. In fact, there's checklists. It's very simple. There's 47 listing steps that activities that should be taken. There's 47 selling steps that can be taken. And over the course of the next several classes, we will be revealing those to people and going through them to make sure that you guys are doing everything that you possibly can in order to get where you want to be in this business, but not only in this business, in your life. Okay? Because our life is not designed to work. Most people's are not. It's designed to do it's designed for family, it's designed for friends, it's designed for all of that, and work helps us achieve what we want with our family. So it's going to be an interactive course. I'm going to unmute people from time to time. I'm going to ask them for their input. Some of it, like today, might even be a little bit sensitive. Like I'm going to ask some questions that you might not be comfortable answering. But even if you were to, we're all friends and whatever, you can always chat your answer in the box, and I won't reveal. If you chat it privately to me, I won't reveal who is saying what. Okay, I might say the numbers, I might say whatever, but it won't be exactly, Wilma said this, Lygia said that. So it's just designed to make you think. So when I was out in Sarasota, it was one class. It was 3 classes once a month for 3 months. I found some very interesting things, okay? And the introduction to all of this is, do you know what real estate is actually about? And I'm going to answer my very own question. Real estate is about making connections, okay? It's not about selling a home, listing a home, or anything like that. The products sell themselves, and you're going to hear me say that many times over, okay, throughout the next several weeks. Products sell themselves. A good salesperson, the product is completely irrelevant as long as it's not, garbage, as long as it has some relevance to it. So it's about making connections with one another. Now, when I was out in Sarasota doing these 3 classes, I was in a room of about 20, 25 people, and they were only Remax broker owners from around the area, and people were driving from all over the state of Florida because it was only offered for a certain period of time in person. Now everything is virtual because of COVID, so it was only offered for a certain period of time. Well, while I was there, I made a couple of connections. And while this has nothing to do with the course, it really has everything to do with the course. So I met two separate broker owners, okay? One happened to be Veronica Figueroa, whom I had not met before. Veronica she's no longer a RE/MAX broker owner. She started an EXP Realty franchise thing. I don't really know or understand all of that, but it might be the way of the future. Whatever, look, there's many ways to skin a cat, but forget who she is as a person or a personality. She is a dynamic individual, an incredible salesperson, okay? She's very good at what she does. Her real estate team has closed over $200 million last year in real estate. Okay, and the year prior it was more. It may have been more. It was like 150, 200. I mean, it's a tremendous amount. She's credited with over 4,500 sales in the last 10 years. Okay, it's very, very impressive. I met her. Where did that lead us? I bought her I bought her property management business, and it all started from the momentum connection. Okay, the second person that I met out there, her name is Sally. She and her partner Christian own a RE/MAX in Tampa. We have now been very good friends. I texted with her just the other day. I've been out to Tampa to meet with her, and she and I and Christian have spent a lot of time in Las Vegas together. We'll take each other out to meals, pick each other's brains and whatever, but it's an incredible opportunity. She has helped me with our real estate, and I've helped her with her property management company. You never know if she's ever going to want to sell that property management business. You never know if she needs help with it. You never know where it's going to go. The point of the matter is that one meeting brought two very positive connections. So even though it was designed for that, it was an unintended gain as a result. So keep in mind, everyone you meet, you might not be selling to them right now, but you might in the future. You should always leave a very good impression with people whenever you speak to them. If you have a light switch, look, I'm not completely like this when I go home. I like to not have other people in my home. I don't want to be an entertainer all day long, but you got to turn that switch on when you're out in public. You got to leave people with a good taste in your mouth, okay? You never know where that's going to lead to. So that's a little bit about momentum, the background, and unintended success as a result of it. So we're going to move forward, and we're going to start by diving into some of the classes. Some of the classes between now and the end of the year are going to include today's, which is going to talk about, and they progress. There's a reason for the order that I put these in. We're going to be talking about business management and activities management today. So we want to make sure that you got your fundamentals, your foundation built, so that we can then get into starting to market ourselves properly, starting to do social media, which will be discussed next class. After that, we're going to talk about buyer conversion, how to get rid of some of these people that are just wasting your time. Marisol and I had one just last week. I told her to cut them loose a couple of weeks ago. She finally did. Good work. They were running her ragged, and they were never going to buy anything. So there's ways, and I'm not saying get rid of everybody that gives you problems. Will never make money, but there are certain people that will never buy and never sell. This class is designed to get people to either buy or not buy, but get your focus on those that will. Same thing with seller conversion. We're going to have that the following class. We're going to talk about how to convert people from going from maybe, what about this, what about that, to let's go ahead and sign, okay? Dealing with their objections up front so that we can close it on the back end way easier. We don't get to closing and then everything blows up, and then getting that listing. The following class is going to be about listing objections, how to deal with people that, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? Just getting rid of all of those types of things. Followed by price training. A lot of people want this for their home, but it only may be worth this. coaching them up front to price it properly based off of not our gut, our knowledge, okay? And showing them and the power of self-discovery for them on how they can also get behind that purchase, okay? Followed by open houses. I've given this class several times. Some people have open houses. I think what is David Scott or Tom Ferry says, you can hold an open house or you can have a house open. You don't want to have a house open. I've had a house open. I sat there for 4 hours like an idiot, and not one person came into the house in 4 hours because I was young and stupid in this business, and I thought that if I sat inside a vacant home, people would automatically show up. I didn't even have a sign out front that said open house. It was ridiculous to having a bunch of people coming in, okay? You never know where that could lead to. The last class will be more about for sale by owners and how to get them to convert. So those are going to be the classes, and I'm excited to be able to have these. They are all going to be recorded, but you know, if I'm here talking to myself, it doesn't really work. It is an interactive class. And so if you can make it live, great. But if you're out showing a buyer, I totally get it. If you're washing the car, you and I are going to have words. But if you're showing people real estate, go for it. So anyhow, I want to start off this particular class by asking everyone to look deep inside themselves. Okay. I want you to think about your personal situation. Okay. And the personal situation that I want you to start thinking about is, I want you to envision what you would like in life, okay? What do you want? Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily about business. It doesn't necessarily have to be about family. Who knows? Maybe your whole life's mission is to work. But what exactly is it that you want in life? Now, I'm going to ask 4 questions. Now, you could either tell me the answers, or you can text them through the system or whatever. But I want you to write down on a piece of paper 3 things in life that you would like to have. And I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to share them, just like everybody else. So take a few seconds and write down 3 things in life that you would like to have. Hey, Steve. Okay, and if you want to chat them, you can chat them to me privately or publicly. You don't have to do them now. Okay, second question is, how much money do you need to live currently per year? How much money is it going to cost? I didn't ask how much money you're making. How much money do you actually need to live right now? The third question is, how much money would you like to make per year? And I don't care what your answer is, if it's $3 or if it's 100,000 or if it's 2 million, whatever, put that number down. Okay. And the last question that I'm going to ask is, what are the 2 biggest obstacles that stand in your way from achieving that? Okay, so hopefully you guys have given that some thought. Now, I'm going to unmute the mics, but just for a second. I can figure out how to do that. Will I unmute all? Okay, so what I'm going to ask is, I'm going to go around the room a little bit, and I'm going to say, Antonios, what is one of your 3 things that you would like to have?
Yeah, I would like prosperity and growth kind of classified in one. And just a definition of that would be like continued advancement.
Okay. All right. Very good. Rose, give me one of your top three. You got to unmute, Rose.
Hello.
Hello.
My top would be health and peace.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very good. Marisol, what's one of your top three?
Prosperity and peace.
You're full of energy today, Marisol. Okay, Steve, what do you got? What's one of your three?
I would say health and prosperity as well.
Okay, I'm seeing a theme. Wilma, what do we have for you? What's one of your top three?
My health.
Okay, very good. And then Lygia, do you have one of your top three? She left. Well, it didn't take long. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is prosperity and health is going to be most. All right. That's very good. Do you notice that not one of you really said anything monetarily? I find it interesting. It's not a bad thing. Prosperity doesn't necessarily mean financial. Healthy and prosperous, you could just be gaining, you can whatever. I mean, yeah, it has a financial tie to it, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not an actual thing. You didn't say a boat, you didn't say a car, you didn't say a vacation. The prosperity is what you can do with the money. It's not necessarily a specific thing, okay? I find that interesting and I love that, okay? Nobody's in here to make $5 or $100,000. They're in here for what that money can do for them, okay? Funny enough, what I put in mine is make sure that I make enough so that I can have an education for my family, okay? Teach them to fish. I don't want to give them a pot of money. I want them to be able to make their own pot of money, but I'll be able to help support them so that they can learn how to get that pot of money, okay? Very interesting. Okay, the next question, I don't need to hear the answer of how much money you need to live, but what I would like to ask is if everybody would tell me your chat or whatever, how much money would you like to make?
I'll go first, Jacob, if that's all right. I would say 150,000 per year would be a short-term goal of mine.
Okay, very good. Rose, what do you have?
I would like to make 100,000.
Okay. There's no shame. Remember, everybody's in a different stage of life. They have different responsibilities right now. Marisol, what would you like to make?
Enough to just be comfortable.
Okay.
There's really no set amount to that.
Okay, very good. Steve, what would you like to make?
I would like to make 100,000.
Okay. Rod, I know you're joining us late, but in a perfect world, what would you like to make per year? You might not be able to hear us. Okay, Wilma, what would you like to make per year?
Minimum 100,000.
Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, so thank you all. I'm going to mute everybody. So thank you all for being honest about it. I think that that's fantastic. Okay, there's no one that gave me an answer that A, wasn't honest, or B, attainable. Okay, not one of those numbers. If anything, I believe your number to be even a little bit low, to be perfectly blunt. Okay, this real estate profession is an open-ended ticket. You can make as much as you want. And the comments of, well, but the market is this, or we've got COVID here, or we've got a recession there, or we've got an election coming in, who knows what's going on with that fiasco. All of those are excuses and noise. I never made more money in my life than in a down market. Okay, why is that? Because I found a way. It's not that I have all the answers, but I found a way to make money in it. Now, was it necessarily through selling every single home? No, but I bought a lot of real estate. Now, I was privileged enough to do that, but I was also disciplined enough going into that to save for a rainy day, which that happened to be. Okay, There are REO brokers. If everybody remembers back in the day, there was very few REO brokers that held all of the listings, okay? They didn't do much in real estate going into it, but they made fortunes during the down economy. Point is that you can't let outside influences affect your salary. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to see what the market is doing and go towards that. Don't run away from it. Those of you that are on here right now are doing just that. I've said this before. We've got COVID right now. I don't want to have a room full of people where we're all breathing on one another and getting each other sick. So we had to adapt. What did we do? We've got Zoom calls. I've got a Remax balloon over here. I mean, we figure a way to let technology take over and help out. So the key here is adapting. Okay, now, how are we going to start to figure out how we can do this? What is the one thing, what is the, my question, I wrote it last night. What is the one resource on this planet that is the most valuable? So I'm gonna open up the mics or chats or whatever. What is the one resource on this planet that is the most valuable?
The internet.
Okay, so we've got internet is one. What else do we have?
I would have to say it's a natural resource and it would have to be air.
Air, okay. Steve, what do you got?
Speech.
Speech. Okay, Rose, what do you got?
Can you pass me?
Okay, no problem. Rod, what do you have? What is the most, what is the biggest resource on this planet? I can't hear you, Rod, but
He's muted.
okay, no problem. Wilma, what do you got?
I got my health.
Okay, so I'm going to, oh wait, Rose wants to talk again. Go ahead, Rose.
People? Having
People,
people.
okay. All of you, no, you're all wrong. Okay? The answer is time. Okay? Time is the most precious resource on this planet. Okay? And I even spent some time thinking about it. Why is it the most? Number one, you can't make more of it. You can't buy more of it. You can't rent more of it. You can't even replace it. Once it's gone, it's gone. Okay? So what we need to do is, some people are working really hard. Okay? Everybody on here is working really hard. I get all of that. But are we working really hard and successful? Or are we working really hard and kind of treading water, not getting very far, like a duck, very calm and cool on the surface, but its feet are going under the water, okay? What we need to do is think about our time and do things that help get us to our goal while removing influences that keep us from it and that our time sucks, okay? A time suck could be Facebook. But it can also be the opposite. Maybe we're not doing enough Facebook with regards to connecting with other people and whatever. There's a lot of things that can take your time. There can be family. It could be why you're working, but it can also be the reason why you have to work. Okay? There has to be a way to manage time, which is a ridiculous thing to say, but there has to be a way to manage your time and your activities so that everything that you're doing during that particular time is getting you one step closer to your goal, okay? And we're going to be talking about time blocking in a few minutes, and we even have exercises and everything, quadrants to put people in so they know exactly what to do and when to do it. So I've done this before with a couple of you, but I'm going to do it again, okay? I think that it's very, very important. So Antonios, if you were to go and leave real estate and you were to find a job and somebody was advertising that they were going to pay you blank dollars an hour, what would you be excited to receive? Like, what would you say, oh, I'm signing up for this?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is knowing my value, and depending on what the job characteristics are, just for my personality alone, I would charge anywhere from $500 to $1,000 an hour.
Okay, and you're worth every penny of that.
Thank you.
Anyhow, okay, 500 to 1,000. So you would not take a job for $100 an hour.
I mean, it really depends on the circumstances. With knowing your worth, you can't shorten yourself. And yeah, I probably wouldn't, because I
Okay.
know what my value is. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Rose, if somebody posted in the newspaper or on Craigslist a job, how much would you be excited to take per hour?
Again, it depends on the circumstance. And of course, my value is, there's no limit to my value, but it depends on the circumstances.
Would you be excited for 75 bucks an hour?
I wouldn't be able to say that right now because I just started doing the real estate, so I can't really measure that.
What you got her doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, rough crowd. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I've already done this with Steve, so I'm not going to ask him, and Rod's microphone's not working. So absolutely no help there. Okay. I will tell you right now, I personally, when I'm thinking about it, if I saw a job that I can make $800 a day, $100 an hour, I'd be pretty stoked. Okay, I'd be pretty excited. That's $100. Okay, let's be realistic. That's a lot of money in Point Siena, Florida. Okay, not knocking Point Siena, but I don't know anybody else out here making that. So let's work backwards. Okay, and I'm going to pick on Rod because he can't talk back right now. So right now, we've got the last deal Rod closed. It's on my desk. He hasn't even received the check yet. Okay. Rod, the last deal you closed, which happened to be yesterday or the day prior, whatever it was, it sold for $245,000, correct? Okay. So it was $245,000. Now, Rod, I'm only going to be asking you questions with fingers, so you can give me fingers. Okay. This one, not that one. This, you closed it at 2.5%, correct? So your side was 2.5%. Okay, I'm writing all of this down. Okay, now here's my question. How many hours did you actually devote to this client? Hello. Did you actually devote 10 hours? Like, how much actual time did you spend with these people, whether it was showing them the home or listing it or whatever? Was it 5 hours? Was it 8 hours? Was it 20 hours? How many hours? 40? Good Lord, we got to work on that. So 40 hours. Okay, that's a lot, Rod, but that's fine. Okay, we'll still work with the numbers. So at $245,000 purchase price, at 2.5%, that's $6,125. If you take that and you divide it by 40 hours, now it should have taken probably closer to 10 to 15, and that's even high, but it's one of Rod's first deals, so we're not going to knock him. He's working his way through it. If you divide $6,125 divided by 40 hours, he made $153 an hour. Okay, I just told you I was going to be excited for 100. So right now, Rod, who's overworking himself on this, made $153 an hour on that deal. That's how much Rod is worth right now. Now, as he whittles that down, the time spent with the client down and gets more in the buffer, it's going to go exponentially higher. Last time I did this thing with Steve over there, Steve Brooks, he was shocked to realize his worth was between $400 and $500 an hour. Okay, doing the same equation. Why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because you need to get laser focused during that specific time during the day to only do things that are going to make you $400 and $500 an hour. Okay, so keep in mind, that, I love the kids, I love the family, all of that, but is that particular whatever the kid is begging you to do or the family is asking you to do, is it worth $400 or $500 an hour away from work? Now we all have to come to a realization that we're not all going to work my schedule, okay? Because my schedule is a little bit loony, okay? But most people can make a lot of money working for 35, 40, 45 hours a week, okay? It's time blocking. It's putting things in a schedule and only doing those activities that fall within that schedule during that period of time. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Right now, I set out, Antonio sent out this training calendar, and I did this for a very specific purpose. I wanted everybody to know when my next training classes are long in advance so that they could schedule it to accommodate, okay? Because in my eyes, and in whoever is on this call, in their eyes, this was the most important thing that they should be doing between 10 and 11 o'clock today. You time blocked and you didn't even know it, okay? I know it, but you didn't even know it. Now, while I've been on this for the last 32 minutes, I have received phone calls and text messages from people. You can see them coming in. Somebody's asking me to give them a real quick call, one of my managers. I'm sorry, that's not the most important thing I have to do right now. I will return that call as soon as I can when it's after this time period, okay? And that's a discipline that people have to get behind and get their minds wrapped around, okay? Their emergency doesn't necessarily mean it's my emergency, okay? So what we have here is, what we want to do is we want to, and you're going to want to write this down, you want to put your time blocking into 4 different categories, okay? 4 different categories. You're going to want to have, 1 is lead generation, 2 is lead conversion, 3 is client care, and 4 is personal development. So if you were to look at, and I'll explain what all of these mean. If you were to look at a calendar, not the day, but the hours of the calendar during regular business day, and you can pull up the old school ones, I don't even have one, but that you write on, or you can pull it up in Outlook or whatever, but everything has a date and a time. Okay, you should be saying that in your minds, and I'm not going to dictate this to you, but I'm going to be working from 9 to 5. From 9 to 5, that's all I'm going to do. Okay, so 8 hours essentially. Okay, with an hour for lunch, whatever that is. So then what you have to do is you have to break down those 8 hours into 4 different quadrants. These are the 4 different quadrants. So whether it's 9 to 11, whether it's 11 to 1, whatever it is, you might want to start off with 2-hour quadrants and put each one of these into that 2-hour quadrant. And then you're only going to be doing things that affect those 4 things during that 2-hour quadrant. Now, if you're new in the business, like some of you are, those quadrants are going to not necessarily be even 2 hours. Maybe one will be an hour. Maybe one will be 3 hours. Maybe, as you build your business, you're going to have to devote more time to certain things. Okay. So let's discuss what what the 4 quadrants mean. Okay. So number 1 is lead generation. What is that? It's very simple to say. It's not simple to do. Okay. Number 4 is, okay, prospecting, marketing, study, and practice. So if you're new in the business, you're not going to have a lot of client care, number 3. You're not going to have that. Okay. You're going to need to spend more time lead generating, going out and making it rain. Go out and meet those people. Now, what are things that you could do for lead generation? It could be as simple as going to, not during COVID, hopefully, but it could be going to the store, going to Walmart and wearing your name badge, putting the stickers on the side of your cart, handing out business cards at Publix, Believe me, when you wear your name badge and it's got a balloon on it, everybody knows what the balloon is, and they're going to ask you, as sure as the sun rises tomorrow morning, they're going to ask you what's going on in the market. Okay? How is the real estate market? How is COVID affecting this? Should I buy? I really wanted to sell something. And that's prospecting. You're talking to people. Okay? That's one method. Social media is another method. Whether it's doing postcards and mail outs. Look, I got a postcard for flowers. I love these virtual backgrounds. You can't see. I got a postcard in the mail the other day. I kept it. Want to know why? I don't get postcards anymore. Okay? When people go left, you should be going right. So whether it's sending out postcards to your sphere or sending out emails or drip can, these are all lead generation activities. And we'll be delving more into generating leads in the next class between social media and marketing. But that's what you do during that quadrant. Now, what happens when a call comes in that the inspector is over at a property and he needs to get in? You have to figure that out. You have to say, is that lead generation, or is that something that can wait for an hour when I'm done lead generating? You have to prioritize. Your next thing is lead conversion. It's reaching out to the people. It's meeting with people rather than just generating that conversation. It's setting that time, not at Publix, but let's go to Starbucks. Let's sit down and meet on a one-on-one, share a cup of coffee, and start developing that rapport. Talking to them about discussing with them about no longer wishing they'd sell the home, but sell that home. Go buy your dream home. It's getting them into that mind frame. That's your next time. Your third one is client care. That's getting them comfortable with you after you've gone under contract with them, making sure that their needs are met. Have you contacted a moving company? Because if not, I have somebody that you could use. Have you canceled your insurance, your homeowner's insurance, if you're selling the home? Because that might be something that they forgot to do and they might be able to get money back. Have they put in for the power and water request to be canceled? These are things that you're reaching out to, making them feel good about you as a person so that they come back to you later. So once again, if you're new in the business, that's going to be a very small period of time where lead generation is going to be very big. And over time, you're going to modify it, but you will still hold those quadrants open so that you can time block. And remember, at $400 an hour, 500, 300, whatever, you've got to weigh, is me doing this really worth not doing that? Got to figure out what that is. So, and the last one is personal development, which is what you're doing right now. You're bettering yourselves. You're learning about something. You're changing your way of thinking. I cannot tell you how many people have wasted COVID, okay? And I'm not talking about anybody here in particular. I'm talking about society in general. A lot of people were at home. A lot of people were watching television. A lot of people were not doing a whole lot of things, okay? There could have been opportunity that you could still have right now to take a class, better yourselves, figure out the next way you could make money through real estate. Even if it's not through real estate, just bettering your own situation by learning something. Maybe it's another language, who knows, okay? I learned how to do 360 virtual tours. I learned how to better my drone situation. I learned how to do virtual meetings like this. I learned how to record and get my YouTube channel going. We now have over 30 videos on YouTube and we've got hundreds of views on them. While that's not impressive to a rock star, I'm very pleased. It's growing, okay? You got to start somewhere. So it's all about personal development, but you've got to set a time for that so that you know that that's what you have to do during that period of time, okay? So that's my, my thing about time blocking. Do we have any questions, comments, anything about time blocking, about what you're worth per hour, about anything like this that I've discussed so far? Anybody? Okay, then we'll keep going. Excellent. I'm just checking my notes, which are lengthy. So hold on one second. Okay, so we've got that. So we're going to go into, there are 14 things, and you don't have to write these down. I can send them out to you later. But there are 14 vital agent responsibilities. Okay, there's 7 for listing and there's 7 for selling. This has nothing to do with the 47 listing and selling thing, but there are 7 things for each quadrant that you should be focused on. Because remember, you got to get back to the basics. It doesn't, and not everything has to be new and great and whatever. Sometimes people step over dollars to pick up pennies and dimes or whatever the saying is, okay? So your first thing as a listing agent would be, you need to lead generate. You need to find somebody that is interested in selling, okay? Number 2, you need to, now that you've discovered who they are, you need to get them to agree with you. You need to get them to sign on that contract. Number 3, administrative. These are checklists, okay? Administrative is making sure that you have all of the contracts signed up front, okay? That you stick them in your process. Why is it so important to keep saying the word process to people? Is because nobody else talks about their process in business, okay? A lot of people do it by happenstance. It's an accident. Sometimes people that have accidental success will never have it long term. It's short-lived, okay? And then they spend the rest of their lives trying to get it back. You don't want it to be happenstance. You want it to be intentional. How do you get it intentional? You get it by having a process, okay? So my process with my clients is when I go to list a home, I get everything up front. I get them to sign off on the net sheet. I get them to sign off on every disclosure. I get mold, seller's disclosure, MLS disclosure. My process is very heavy paperwork up front. Why? Because nobody wants to be chased down afterwards to get it signed while you're waiting to get paid by the broker, okay? And there's nothing more frustrating than trying to get a seller's disclosure signed by a buyer that's sitting down at the closing table. Okay, well, that's ridiculous. I already had my inspection. What do I need to sign this nonsense for? I get everything done up front. That's part of your administrative process. That's what you want to do. Marketing exposure. I don't know how many people are sending out just listed emails or postcards or whatever, or just sold, but they work. They've worked before, they work now, they'll work in the future, okay? You've got to get that marketing out there. I'll give Antonius a huge piece of credit right now. He goes on there. I'm not a big Facebook person. I mostly stalk on there. I don't ever post. But Antonius goes with his video. He had Steve and him on either last night or the day before talking about welcoming him into the sales side and all of that. And he gets a couple of hundred views at a pop. Okay, this is part of your marketing. If you're selling a house, let people know it. That's part of your marketing exposure. Presenting and negotiating offers. You've done all of this work. Now you sit back and relax until the offer comes in. When the offer comes in, a lot of people don't know how to properly present an offer, okay? A lot of people will say, hey, I got an offer on the home. It's $195,000. I know you're at 210, but we should take it. Okay, well, no, a proper way is sitting down with them and explaining to them the pluses and the minuses of every one of these, okay? It's all part of your process. Because guess what? If they feel like they're getting a bad deal at $195 when they go to sign it, what do you think is going to happen when they do the inspection and they start asking for more money and repairs back? You got a dead deal if you're not savvy, okay? You got to get them to buy into it up front. Let them know the pluses and minuses. Then you've got closing preparation. Our closing preparation is very minimal, or it should be. Why? Because we got everything up front. I always tell my sellers, I'm getting everything now because the only thing I want to do later is make sure that I get your signature so they can print everybody's checks. Okay? It's that simple. People travel, maybe not so much now, but people are busy. They don't want to be bothered with the mundane. And then the last part is post-closing activities. Okay? I'm not a big gift giver when it comes to closing unless it's specific people. What I am a big believer in is thank you notes. Okay. And you'll hear me say this time and time again. I write thank you notes to everyone that I do business with, and they're personalized. They probably take me about 3 to 5 minutes. They're not that hard to do. They don't have to even be that long, but I thank every one of them for entrusting me with possibly their biggest asset of their entire lives. Okay. And I thank them for not only entrusting me, but for allowing me the opportunity to enter into their world for this particular period of time. And I hope, I put this on every one of them and then I personalize it. And then I put in there, I hope that my involvement made possibly the most emotional decision that you might be making a little easier. Okay. It's very powerful. And funny enough, I got a thank you note back just this past on Monday. What day is today? What on Friday? I opened up a thank you note for my thank you note and for doing a good job. Okay, I think that that's amazing. These are all part of post-closing things on the listing side. On the buyer side, we're going to go through them real quick. The buyer side, it's of course lead generation. Make sure that we can find buyers. There's a lot of them out there. We just have to make sure they come to us. Lead conversion, same thing as before. Administrative, make sure that you have a process for your buyers. Okay, we don't just have seller processes, we have a buyer process. Marisol has a process where she gets a lot of people to sign a buyer brokerage agreement. Now, I'm not a big fan of them, but you know what? It works for her and it's part of her process. It's not a problem. Okay. I'm more about making sure they just sign a transaction broker notice, which doesn't bind them to anything, but they don't necessarily know that. So then we deal with the showings. Okay. I can't tell you how many times, and for all you new agents, you're going to do it 10 more times. Hey, Jacob, I'm in front of 123 Main Street. Can you come show it to me? Yeah, I'll be right there. No. Muy malo. Mal or malo? Malo? Malo. Okay. Muy malo. Okay. It's not good. It's bad. Okay. Have they been pre-qualified? Why are you showing them one house? You should be showing them 3 or 4 houses, because once you've shown them that one house that they were in front of, they're going to go down the block and see another sign and call a sign off of that. Okay. And if they're going to do that, they have no loyalty, and there's absolutely no reason for you to be working with a buyer that has no loyalty. Okay. They will run you ragged, and the person that winds up getting the deal has dumb luck. That's not what we're after. We're after long-term success. Okay. It's all part of the process. Get them into the office, get them on the phone with a mortgage lender, a legitimate one, not a fly-by-night that everybody writes up a pre-qualification letter. Ask them what their needs versus wants are. Do you need a 4-bedroom house, or do you want a 4-bedroom house? Do you need a tile roof, or do you just like the way that it looks? This way you could whittle down the properties, and you can whittle down the properties from 1,000 to 500 to 300 to 200 down to, you know, hopefully 5 or 10 max. Okay. And when you get them in the car, you say, we're going to show you your next home. Are you excited to see where you're going to be living in the future? You know, something quirky and corny like that. So these are all part of the processes. Okay. You want them to want the home. Okay. And when they actually want the home, the dollars and cents that come along with it become much less meaningful. Okay, it's not as important as making sure that they can envision their family living in that home. It's all part of the process. Okay, then you're going to deal with writing and negotiating that contract. Okay, I'm going to pick on Marisol for a second because I just was working with her on this. Okay, she has this buyer that she finally kicked to the curb last weekend because they wanted to see 20 homes or 10 homes or whatever it was after her showing them many homes. They kept writing offers with Marisol that were unrealistic. They were never going to get accepted. Okay, and Marisol give it yay or nay, am I right? They were never going to get them accepted. Okay, I don't mind doing that once. I'll give them a mulligan. The second time, they need to understand that this is your profession and that we're here to get them at home. We're not here to steal homes for them. We're here to make it a win-win for a buyer and a seller. I'm not into theft. And if, by the third one, if you're not being honest, or even by the second one, if you don't come up with a legitimate offer, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you loose. This is not a buyer's market where they can put a price on anything and expect them to get it. Okay. Right now, homes are selling for a lot of money. So when they come in 40% below, 30% below, it's not going to happen. Don't waste your time. Do it once, twice, you got to stop. She did it 3 times, but that was because she really wanted to help them. yeah, wasted time. So anyhow, then you've got your closing preparation followed by closing activities. So a lot of those correlate, okay, they're very, very similar to the listing. The key is process. You're going to get them in that process, and that is how you're going to see them through without scrambling at the end to make sure that your checklists are all completed with RE/MAX Pioneer and with the title companies and with the other agents and everything like that. This way, when you go to closing, there's really nothing left to do but 2 things. Upload the final HUD and upload a copy of the check, a copy of the check that comes to the office. That should be all that you're doing when you get to the closing table. Everything else should be done days, if not longer, beforehand. Okay? Any questions about any of that? Maricel has a question. You have to unmute.
I know. I don't have a question. I want to share something with everyone that as agents, we don't normally think of. Okay. And I say that because when I was an agent previously, before being a sales manager, I didn't think about this. At every stage in your transaction, your file should look like it would need to look if someone came and audited it. Okay. Because if the state audits Jacob at any point, okay, they need, if your listing is pending, then your file should reflect that is in a pending status. That means every document in that file should be as if your seller has a buyer and it's under contract and the file is complete at that said given time. If it's not, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing for your file.
I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to take it one step further, Marisol. Thank you for that. Let's give a real life example. Okay, a real life example is you're an agent and you've got the house under contract and everything should be in app files, but I'm not a mind reader. Okay, I play one, but I'm not. Right? But you, God forbid, get sick with COVID. Okay, or you actually are in a very bad car accident and either you're incapacitated or dead. Okay, whatever the situation might be. I'm very sorry that you're dead, but I still have to figure out what the heck is going on. Okay?
Bad example.
No, it's a good example. Life, unfortunately, continues, and your clients are going to be very sorry for about 8 minutes until they realize, where in the heck is my 200 grand?
Someone needs to be able to pick up where you left off.
Somebody always needs to be able to pick up where you left off. So if I have to go through your files, the state requires me to have everything accessible. If I have to start going through your files and it's not there, how am I to know that it's in the trunk of your car that just exploded? It's got to be where we can all find it. I shouldn't have to go to your family and say, I'm very sorry for your loss. I'm going to need that file. Okay, it's
that example.
So keep all of that in mind. I'm a good guy, but I need that file. So yeah, but not only will it help you on the check request side, making sure that you get paid quickly and not look like a fool in front of your customers. There is a practical side to it as well, a legal side to it, not even a practical side, where we do have to have that all on file. So if you follow through app files, and if you have trouble with app files, I did put a class on YouTube. It's an hour long. You could fast forward it, you could rewind it, you could whatever, but how to use the basics of app files. I did it myself. If you need that, that's fine. If you have specific questions, call me, call Antonius. We can help you. Everybody on this screen right now, and those that aren't even on it, are wealth of knowledge, and we're all here to help one another. So pick our brains. So it could be a very simple thing, but definitely it's all part of that process. Get that file done and follow those checklists. So thank you. Okay, so this is going to wrap up today's class, but I want to pull up my schedule. And for those of you that don't know, today was more of like an overview of the classes that are going to be coming. Now we start getting into the meat and the potatoes of what you should actually be doing, things that are actually actionable over the course of your next 30, 60, 90 days so that you can get your processes in order and get people to buy and to sell, okay? So our next class is going to be on September 30th at 10 o'clock. It's going to be the same format, but it's going to be on marketing and social media training. This is going to fall under your first quadrant of your four quadrant time blocking of prospecting, finding people to buy, finding people to sell. So that's how we're going to start to attract them. There's many different ways to do it. I'm going to give you a couple of ways, but you can Google them. You can figure out other things that work for you that fit your lifestyle, your mentality, your comfort zone. But I will tell you, people that are in their comfort zone generally don't succeed. Okay. I know I don't look like it. I hate being on camera. Okay. This is out of my comfort zone. And if you notice over the last 6 months, I have changed how I do my videos. If you saw where I started, they were a disaster. Am I perfect right now? Absolutely not. But I'm getting better. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, which is making it more comfortable, which is making it better, okay? So we're gonna train you how to get out of that into something that is, whether it's knocking on doors, not during COVID, but whether it's, postcards or Booge or CRMs or whatever it is, we're gonna teach you how to do all of that. So September 30th, which is a Wednesday at 10 o'clock, we're gonna be working on social media and marketing as well. So, any questions, comments, concerns, anything?
Jacob, I just want to add one thing. This is Antonio. Shout out to everybody who joined the meeting today. I think that you did really well. Time blocking, and then it just shows the urge and the passion that you guys have to be that much more successful. And I'm looking forward to learning a lot from this as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And honestly, if you guys have a question about time blocking, come and find me or call me. I can help set that up for you. So, and we can put together a schedule that works for you, not for me. What works for me doesn't work for you. So just come and find me. But anyhow, thank you one and all, and wish you a successful day.
Thank you.